Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me here. And um, in 2002, when I saw Amir Khan go up to the Oscars for Lagan, I was like, एक दिन मैं भी जाऊंगी. But it didn't really start that clearly. I was in 2002. I was in college. I clearly remember I was in first year in a mass communication college that I took admission, and I was really hoping to learn filmmaking. Sorry. Okay, just is it okay? Cool. You can all hear me, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So I'll start again. In 2002, when I saw Amir Khan go up to Oscars representing India for Lagan, I was in college first year, and hoping to be able to tell stories, to learn the process of filmmaking, and also one day be able to represent my country. I was in a college in Nizamuddin in Delhi, and it is the only college where I found undergrad mass communication course. I managed to get scholarship, and I was in. As I took admission in that, every semester I raised my hand and I said, "Are we learning filmmaking?" He said, "First year is about learning the history of print media, the history of newspaper. The second year was all about radio." So basically, I signed up for a course of journalism. I parallelly kept interning. My best friend's mother was Anurita Sehgal, was in movies, in international films as a coordinator, as a production coordinator, and I signed up to be her photocopy girl. So I started very young, and I was constantly interning, doing all kinds of odd jobs, from being a DJ, from being an anchor, from being selling cheese on streets, and also editing, also being like extra hands on a film set, anything that I could get to learn filmmaking. I was very keen. I was very curious. And as life progressed, I learned a lot. I gained a lot of experience, and I managed to raise 50 lakhs at the age of 21, and decided to go to Bombay to be a producer. So here I was in Bombay. I had gone up my scale from being an intern to being a location manager, a production manager, learning more craft about production. And here I was in Bombay at the age of 21, meeting people um, in food courts and saying, "मेरे पास 50 लाख रुपए है, तुम्हारे पास कहानी है." I really just wanted to. And when I got there, I did make my first film. And in 2006, we put together our first film, which was a children cricket film called Say Salam India. And we were hoping that by 2007, it is the World Cup. We'll be able to capitalize the World Cup. We'll be able to use the marketing of the World Cup to promote our little film. However, India came out of the preliminary round of selection, and the same week also my film released. Nobody wanted to touch the movie in cinemas, and my technically really small film, the 50 lakhs that I got from my neighbor, um, I didn't know what to do. I ended up self-distributing my film because I had to go back home, right? And I had to cross the house of my neighbor to go back home. It took 9 months of my life, but we went school to school and self-distributed the movie and made all the money back. And that kind of I also gained confidence in making more films from there. In 2010, I produced another short film which was called Kavi, which was in the Oscars as the best short in the narrative section. All I wanted at that point of time was, maybe I could attend it. I mean, I was ecstatic. It was a big deal to be selected for your short film, and I and in 2009 I had a huge personal tragedy. I lost my family, and in 2010 I was pretty broke, had no money and no visa, and I really just wanted to go attend the Academy Awards for the short film that I had produced. So there was 1 month before I could go to the ceremony, from the announcement to attending the ceremony, and I started writing emails to possibly every rich person I knew. I found email IDs of Richard Branson. I found the PREA email ID of Ratan Tata, and so on and so forth. I sent out many, many mails. Waited around 10 days. Didn't hear from anyone. Out of desperation, because I was running out of time, I wrote to the President of India, and really saying that we are nominated for an Oscar, our short film, we would love to represent India, we're the pride of the nation, can you please support us? Next day I got a call back, and they said, what are you looking at? And I said, I'd just love to come to Rashtrapati Bhavan and screen our film, and then maybe, if you can support us more. With my whole crew, we landed up at the Rashtrapati Bhavan. With the whole cast and crew, we landed up at the Rashtrapati Bhavan, and we did a screening there. I also met, and at that point of time, the president was on Pratibha Patil. At that point of time, I also met other major ministers there. I met other major ministers like Mr. Prithviraj Chauhan, who then invited us for an evening at his house to also screen. And I was able to ask him there that I'm really looking for support. Do you think you can help us with air tickets and visas? And he and his office were very kind to help us to actually just attend the Oscar Awards. So 2010 was the first time I was able to attend the Academy Awards. I went to US, and I was in the awards, and we did not win that year, but it's like, hopefully I'll come back one day and we will. As I came back, I joined a production house here as a producer, started working, and I produced a bunch of movies. I started from Dasvidanya, That Girl in Yellow Boots, to Shahid, Shaitan, Ayya, Gangs of Wasseypur. And as life was progressing and all these amazing films happened, I was always very young. I was always this young woman I was still in my 20s, in my mid-20s, and trying to make these amazing big films, and being a producer, I was judged. I was a lot of times written off, a lot of times not taken seriously. And to counter that, I started dressing as an elderly woman. I colored my hair white. I used to just pretend. If anybody ever asked me, how old are you? At that point of time, I used to say, guess. I used to be like, what do you think? I used to be like, 38. 40, I was like, bang on. You're absolutely right. I'm still not there. So that was my counter of, constantly being told that you're young, you don't know enough. And also, to really be a good producer, you either have to be from the film family, or you have to be like very, very rich. And I'm neither. So it is just an inherent dream of storytelling, of empowering and telling our stories, taking it to the world. And how far can I go with this dream? How far can we tell our stories, and how can we get the whole world to hear our stories? So moving forward from there, in 2013, I did set up my own company, Sikya Entertainment, and I produced the Lunchbox. It was the first of its kind, India, France, Germany, co-production. We got a lot of great reviews internationally. We got a lot of great press and a lot of love from festivals and awards. It was bought by Sony Picture Classic for distribution in US. And there was a lot of, there are all these lists from which country, what film should be nominated. And we were really hoping the Lunchbox will represent India. And the Lunchbox will, the Indian selection committee will select Lunchbox and send it to the Academy Awards. And my little dream of really going there with my movie would also come true, and hopefully, taking it forward. So 2013, India did not select Lunchbox, and that really hit me very hard because we were really hoping that we could take this far and we could really represent the country. And I had also produced a bunch of other independent movies. And I was way, at 2013, while Lunchbox was doing so well globally, my other films were unable to find distribution. And that really led me to be into, deep self-doubt and deep depression, which lasted around 1.5, 2 years of not knowing where do I go from here. I was just constantly told your films are not commercial. You are, you produce dark and depressing cinema. I mean, I don't know how is the work that I have done being categorized into that, but that's what I would always hear. And then if any success happened, people would just say, oh, that's a fluke. So I kind of internalized all of this and I didn't know where to go from there. By 2016, the digital boom happened in India. And Netflix, Amazon, Z5, Hotstar, and the independent community of filmmaking grew. And a lot of my films started coming out. By 2016-17, I saw the release of Tigers, Haramkhor, Monsoon Shootout. And around in 2016, I was in LA when I met the schoolgirls, 10 schoolgirls of Oakwood School in North Hollywood in LA, 12 to 14-year-olds, with their English teacher. I met them in the English class in Oakwood School, and they told me how they're looking at setting up a pad machine in a village in India, to a pad machine, and they plan to document the process and document the process and make it a movie, and hopefully that movie raise awareness and be able to tell the world about that periods are normal and girls around the world should not leave their education attached because of the stigma attached to it. These girls inspired me. I was on my borderline of coming out of my own depression as much as life had been till that time. And that was the start of our magical short film, Period End of Sentence. 2019, this year, we were selected for the Academy Awards and we won. I stand here proudly as an executive producer to Period End of Sentence. 2016, when I met these girls, I did tell them, each of you have the power to change the world. And I absolutely believe that today the movie and all our work is impacting the world. All I just want to tell you that this decade and a half of my work and my journey of making movies, independent films, I've seen some of my work shine globally. I've seen some of the movies completely tank and not being heard. I've lost my family members, I've lost loved ones, I have gone through massive personal tragedies, and I have gone through major successes and major lows. I always just want to tell everyone here that don't let anyone tell you that your dream is too big. Don't let anyone tell you that you're a fluke. And all I did to sustain this is only because every day has a new day, tomorrow is a new morning, and all I did was I showed up. So there is a immense power in showing up, getting through to all the narratives thrown at you, and all you can do is show up and continue working. Thank you.